Today we're going to explore the mint error called missing plating. But sometimes it helps to look at a normal coin with complete plating. Now this would only apply to coins that are clad by design. So it would have a copper core with nickel on each side of the coin. So if you ever hold a coin up to its edge, or look at the edge of the coin, you'll see that copper core sandwiched in between the two layers of nickel. Now right here we have a 1984 Denver Kennedy half dollar, which is a clad coin. Okay, so it would fit that composition mix, you know, to a T. All right, this is what a coin is supposed to look like. Okay, you and I know this, but to give you kind of like the basis and the foundation for what a missing plating coin would look like. All right, it's always good to kind of refresh our mind with this image. All right, so up here next, okay, you have a strip with a bunch of holes. All right, if you can imagine this strip being a solid piece of sheet metal, and usually this strip is several feet long, the image here is a small section, probably 5-6 inches, and this is the material that the blank planchets for the coins would be punched out of. All right, so this isn't like your typical just straight up steel metal. This is a clad composition piece that's made outside of the mint. Usually, you know, they're made by a vendor outside of the mint, and then of course they're contracted together, and you know, they end up giving them whatever they need as they order them. But in any event, these holes right here actually had the planchets in them, so they're punched out systematically. And of course these strips have been inspected before they are punched, and you know, that's how the pre-stages of coin minting starts out at. All right, so the men would receive great big giant containers full of these blank planchets. How they're prepared, you know, is anybody's guess from that point forward. You know, go down the assembly line. You know, they would be checked for quality. They would have a rinsing stage and all of this, and then on through the process. But as you can see from the image of the strip, okay, we had a few arrows on both sides, and if you can imagine that being the end of strip, like the very edges from the longest end, okay, that's where a lot of your problem coins are going to come from, because the original alloy composition is copper and then sandwiched in between 2 layers of nickel. Okay, you would think that, you know, the compositions would match up together, so that way they won't split apart. But if you get a defective end of strip planchet out of the mix, this is where you would come across your ragged clips, your straight clips, missing plating, because it's the quality on those end pieces isn't as well as the, you know, the planchets and the material in the middle of that strip. So here's an example of a stake quarter with a missing plating. Okay, the plating didn't just fall off one side. Okay, it was already missing before mintage. All right, so before the coin has been struck, it was already missing the one side. I can imagine that this was probably already kind of a brownish color to begin with, and that's all in due part to the rinsing stage of the planchets, and how reactive copper is naturally to air and moisture. So there might be a few examples out there with a little bit of red in it, but it's very hard to find. But that's how you end up with a missing plating coin. Now let's talk about the fun factor with finding these. Okay, they're out there in different types of, you know, stages. Okay, you might have one that's missing half the plating or a little section. You might have some chipping on the edges, right on the rim, which is the most minor type of missing plating, or flaky plating is what I like to call them. Those don't command really a whole lot of extra value. The ones that are completely missing, like this stake quarter right here, this is where we're at as far as value. Now, coins of this nature, the newer coins, you know, because there's a little bit more of them out in the marketplace, you know, will sell somewhere in the $100 to $500 range, depending on the denomination and the amount of missing plating that's going on with the coin. So the more plating that's missing, like in this case, this example here is missing all the plating on one side, this one would can't command up, you know, to the little bit higher level. Plus the higher denominations, of course, would fetch more money. Another thing to keep in mind with these coins, okay, it's always easiest to somehow get them authenticated, whether it's sending it off to, you know, a third-party grader, or sending it to a one of the error specialty guys like a Fred Weinberg or a Sullivan Numismatics. Okay, if you could get a letter accompanied with a coin of what they've kind of deduced as far as the information, then they'll give that to you in letter form, and you could use that in some sort of auction. The circulated examples out there, okay, you know, they still command some money. I've seen them sell in the $20 to $50 range for the dime, quarter, and sometimes a half dollar. When you get into like the Susan B. Anthony and the Ike dollars, okay, it gets really pricey. But that is, in a roundabout way, missing plating errors and how it all kind of forms. And you know, if you consider the process of how the planchets were produced and how the mint utilizes those blank planchets, then you would understand how, you know, a coin could be missing the plating. But in any event, it's a very fun error to find. I found a few of them over the years. They're out there. You know, I found the missing plating Lincoln cents, so all I have is like a zinc planchet. Those are fun. I found a few dimes. I found a 1/4 probably about 3 years ago that was missing the entire front obverse plating and then a little bit on the back. So that's kind of unusual. Plus it had a little bit of a ragged clip on there. But anyways, it's something to look out in pocket change or coin roll hunting. As always, if you guys enjoy the video, go ahead and do a like, you know, give me some thumbs up, and you know, yeah, subscribe to my channel, Blue Ridge Silverhound. And I appreciate your guys' time, and yeah, you guys keep hunting, stacking, and going for it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care.